Hey, folks, just a little bit of just checking in to let you know what's going on in Central Florida. And to be more specific, I'm in Mount Dora, which is in, pretty much smack dab in the middle of Central Florida. Oh, and by the way, this is a real Cuban cigar. See if I can get the damn thing lit. Pretty damn cool out here tonight. I think it's supposed to get down to like 38 or maybe a little lower. But yeah, for my good friend Justo, I got a real Cuban cigar. This is not something made in Tampa. This is actually made in Cuba. It's a Cohiba. Uh, I don't know much about cigars, but I like the taste of this one. It's really good. So, yeah, smoking and joking here, Cuban cigars, cigarette, whatever. I can tell you this much could, compared to many other states, Florida is truly more free in many ways. It's not perfect. No state is fucking perfect. But, we are it's becoming more and more throughout the United States balkanized, if you know what I mean. Hey, TDT. Got my big fat Cuban cigar. It's real cute Cubano cigar, by the way. I rented this house, leased it for a year, a little over a year, and eventually I may go farther south into Florida, but right now I'm happy right here. Uh, Not going to get too much into the personal stuff, but yeah, my wife is still in hospice and not doing much better. Matter of fact, she's doing worse than she was. Uh, Hope you all can hear me out there okay. Drinking a little black velvet and a little bit of beer. Specifically, this is a Hefeweizen with grapefruit. It's really good shit, man. This particular brew is real German beer, and it's they also have passion fruit, Hefeweizen, and pomegranate. And this is grapefruit. But anywho, yeah, I'm doing good, TDT. Actually, loving life down here, right across the street from the park. I'm sitting outside tonight. It's pretty damn chilly, but the wind's not blowing. You just very, very light breeze. Tomorrow is supposed to get up into the mid 60s, and after that, 70s, and even up about 80, possibly a little north of 80 by Thursday. So, yeah, my dog loves this area. She's uh, loving this park across the street. Nice big park. It's got tennis courts, all kinds of shit out here, baseball fields, everything you can really think of. Um, so yeah, living in this free state of Florida, as free as it can be, under a lot of these fucking globalists. But and I have to say one thing, DeSantis has maybe not been perfect, but he's a hell of a lot better than the state of Nevada Stan, where I came from. There's a lot of people that just don't buy this shit that the federal government is putting out, i.e., Mr. B. But yeah, they don't put up with that shit down here. As a matter of fact, I'd say about 3 miles down the street or so, there's a shooting range where they shoot off all kinds of weapons. And maybe once or twice a month they got a little gathering down there. I actually haven't shot my weapon in a long time. Actually, I've never shot my AR-15. Not this one. Way back in the Army, but I can practically take it apart and put it back together with my eyes closed. So if anything ever happens, I just keep it lubed. Once in a while I break it down. Once in a great while, every couple of months I break it down and wipe it down and just be prepared. And I got fair amount of ammo if anything ever goes down. But yeah, like I said, the United States in its present state of things is becoming rather balkanized. And with regard to Ukraine, guess what, folks? Even the Ukrainian president says that the Russians amassing at their border is nothing to be freaked out about, basically, paraphrasing, of course. But yeah, if Biden decides to pull some shit, he's going to get a spanking, because the Russians have been preparing for this for years, because NATO has been completely surrounding Russia, more and more tightening the noose. But guess what? Russia has been pushing back for quite a long time. So it'd be foolish to get involved in that shit. I don't know what you all think, but trying to start some shit with Russia? Bad idea. And he's poking the bear there, TDT. Poking the bear, man. You don't want to poke the bear because the bear's going to get pissed off, So, yeah, things are going pretty good, considering. I got the old lady in the house, and she's going south. And as a matter of fact, I didn't feel so goddamn shit hot myself last night. But I'm convinced that the good Lord, and believe it or not, I am a Christian. Yes, I am. The good Lord put me here to take care of her. Hey, 12 Bravo, how's it going, man? You my bro, man. You my bro. But I don't know what you all think about the current world situation, but it's getting pretty hot. So I hope that the good Lord pulls us out of this bullshit with this crappy ass government that we got right now. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I think it's 50-50, because we got enough intelligent people in this country. They're going to say no to any conflict with Russia. It's a bad idea. It really is. And a lot of veterans are saying that, man. They're not just ready to, flick the switch and, we run off to war. Ukraine is pretty much insignificant. It's, except for Hunter and Joe, they made a bunch of money from Ukraine and even some inside deals in Russia, which is really ironic. It's just fucking crazy, man. But it's really no wonder. I mean, you look at Pelosi and many others, Chucky Schumer, that even what's his name, the Republican, McConnell. I believe he has a Chinese wife, or I should say she's of Chinese origin, or heritage. But, these people are fucking nuts, man. They'll take you to war on the drop of a fucking dime. When Kennedy tried to get us out of Vietnam, that was it, man. military industrial complex wasn't going to have that shit, man. They took him out in Dallas in November of 1963. I remember it very well, and I didn't know shit about, shit from Shinola back in those days because I was like 9 years old. But I was alive when Kennedy was taken out. And yeah, it's fucking crazy shit, man. It's just one fucking thing after another, man. And so, um, yeah, people had a couple of brain cells left to rub together. They figure all this shit out, whether it comes to, the convid or, as some people like to call it, like Montegraph, the Wuhan wiggle, they got all that shit figured out, man, because they got a God-given fucking brain, God-given fucking brain. And it took me a long time to figure this shit out after, even after I got out of the military, I didn't know, I really didn't know much about anything, Constitution, God-given rights, which are even more important than the Constitution. And that's what the founding fathers based this country on is God-given rights, not rights given by men to us. So, I don't know what you all think, but, one movie I saw the other night was The Patriot with Mel Gibson. That's a hell of a movie. At first, he just didn't want to get involved in the revolution, in the Revolutionary War. He fought in the French Indian War, and he thought, wow, man, everything. I just don't want to get involved in this war. But when it came down to it, the Patriot, Mel Gibson, went out there and fought in the Revolutionary War after he saw his couple of his boys get killed, especially the first boy. That's what got him into the Revolutionary War. And, good old boys, man, back then, they fought in earlier wars before the Revolutionary War. Man, they were ready to fucking fight. They knew what guerrilla warfare was all about. No, not guerrilla warfare, but guerrilla warfare. And that's the way I was taught too, You just don't stand out there in the fucking open and get shot, or advertise when you're going to go and do a little operation. You don't do that shit. So, yeah, if something happens to the old lady, which it more than likely is, unless I, fucking keel over one of these days. And it could happen any fucking time. The good Lord he put me here for a reason. And, I know that I could go too, just like that, gone, but he put me here for a reason. I got hit, my wife's son, he lives here in Florida too, Central Florida area. And her daughter from Tennessee, near Chattanooga. I won't say exactly where, but near Chattanooga, way out in the countryside. I got her down here on a flight. She came down on a Legion Air. And, because I had this vision. I had to get the fuck out of Nevada because I had to get out of this state that I couldn't fucking stand after it turned fucking blue as you can imagine, and that really pissed me off. And so I sold the house. I got all that shit out of there. About 99% of it was just given away or junked or, you get the idea. But I came down here to Florida. I started off in Nevada, drove all the way down to San Antonio, Texas, almost continuously, and when I got to San Antonio, we stayed there for I guess it was maybe 3-4 weeks. And that's where most of my kin is from. And the only one that showed up to actually see me was my nephew, who I dearly love. he's a tough old man. I mean, he's not as old as me, but he's like right around 50 years old. He's getting ready to slow down a little bit. And I told him, man, you got to get down here to Florida. This dude, I mean, my nephew, I mean, he's got every skill in the fucking book, man. He can do master electrician work, plumbing, uh, demolition, build a house from the fucking ground up, carpentry, you name it, man. The dude can do it. I mean, I hope he does get down here in February, and when he gets down here, I'm going to introduce you to him. I mean, he's a little shy, but he's a big old dude, man. I mean, he's like, this big compared to me, and taller and tough as a motherfucker, man. I can't wait for him to get down here in February if it does come to pass. But he can get a job down here in a fucking heartbeat, man. I mean, he can write his own ticket, fucking. Yeah, I'm not going out for less than $300 a fucking day. He can do that, you know. He can do that. I wish I had gained all those skills like he did over the years, but it just didn't happen. I won't get into that story, but super smart dude, man. I mean, he definitely got his dad's brains and my dad's brains and drive, because finally at around the age of 25, 28, whatever, he got his shit together. He used his fucking brain, and he learned so much shit. And I love the dude, man. He's not just a nephew. He's my fucking brother, man. And I hope he comes on down. Hey, Cashew, how you doing? I appreciate you, uh, you know, telling people about my channel. I'm not a big channel, never will be, never want to be, but I just want to, push some passionate ideas out there, because I'm not a real technical guy, although I'm somewhat, financially technical, but never became a real skilled at any one fucking thing. But I know when to pull the trigger to get shit done with money. Not as much as some people do, obviously. Look at people like Gregory Mannarino. He worked on Wall Street, and the dude's been almost right on every time. It's like 3 times in 15 years he's been wrong, but for the most part he knows what the fuck he's talking about. I think he's still living in Nevada, as far as I know, you know. But yeah, I'm doing the old man thing here every fucking day. Make sure my wife is, given comfort measures. She's getting oxygen, she's getting morphine, she's getting lorazepam, or as many like to call it, Ativan. Just to keep her comfortable while she's passing on to be with the good Lord. And hope the good Lord keeps me around a little bit longer, but just long enough to get her through to the next level, you might say. But yeah, I know I'm rambling on here, but it's the only way I really know how to talk is to try to keep a pretty good stream of consciousness going on. So, I mean, I've been hard on my wife, because she's got so many pre-existing conditions, the dementia, the loss of muscle tone, just, it's been a bitch, to be quite frank. But really, it's a miracle she's lived this long, in the hospice situation for almost 2 years. It'd be about 2 years in roughly March. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the story on that. I don't know what else to tell you. But it's tough, I mean, there are times when I have panic attacks. I have like a little bit of PTSD. But nothing like a vet that's been in combat. I don't have that kind of PTSD, but it's pretty fucking bad. Damn, this Cuban cigar is fucking good, man. I don't inhale much of cigars, a little bit, but I do more smoking cigarettes than I do Cuban cigars. But this is a real deal. Yeah, like I said, it's a Cohiba. Can't quite make out the other writing on there. It's a fine cigar, man. I don't smoke cigars usually. Yeah, I had a little bit of, heart flutter last night, and I had to just sit there in my easy chair and just chill out and just, it is what it is, It's just like with, I didn't even know that Dangerous Freedom Ron was having any kind of problems, but he obviously had some fucking problems, man. I got to try to get my right eye fixed. I've had cataract surgery in both eyes. My right eye needs an adjustment, and it's supposed to go on Thursday, I believe it is, the 3rd of February, whatever day that is. I think that's Thursday, and to the surgeon, and they're going to do some more, looking at my eye and see exactly what it needs, because this shit's so precise now. I mean, it's called YAG surgery, and what they really basically do is just in and out. You sit in a fucking chair, they shoot at a laser at your eye and smooth out all the imperfections, and you're out of there. And even the cataract surgery, it was nothing, man. There was absolutely zero pain. Little anxiety, because you always think, what if something goes wrong? And it could, there could be something goes wrong, but not highly likely. Not with these tools that they use now. They're like AI. All they do is set up the equipment. They go in there, they do the thing with these miniature lasers and tools and shit, man, and you're out of there. So it's amazing. I mean, my left eye, I can see pretty damn good out of that eye. It's got to be close to 20/20. Maybe just a hair could be adjusted, but it's not necessary. The right eye is the one that's got to be checked out and corrected. And I wear these real cool glasses I got off Amazon, and when you put them on, it doesn't really work like regular glasses, but it turns all the light into a real mellow yellowish look, so that when you go driving, it's really not a problem. I can drive right now, but I'm looking forward to getting my right eye corrected so that I can drive like a pro again. But hey, I made it all the way down from Nevada in my RV. I'll turn my maybe you all can see this, but I don't know. Probably can't see it, but anyway, that way is my RV, and I drove that sumbitch. It's just almost 33 feet, 32 feet 11 inches, all the way from Nevada stand down here to Central Florida. And, I felt pretty confident once I got out on the road, especially when I got on a highway. It wasn't too rough. When you get down here into Florida, the highways are fucking outstanding. You just put that thing on cruise control, like, 60, maybe 65, and just chill out. and drive and just hold on to the wheel and you go, you know. So that was pretty cool, man. And that thing, that RV worked flawlessly. I mean, it was just so sweet. There was a few rough spots going down, like through northern New Mexico, and there's this one stretch I hit before, right when I was getting down into central Texas, right outside the hill country of Texas, and I hit a stretch of road that was so smooth, so silky that it was just like, wow, can I stay awake while I'm driving? It was fucking awesome, man. It was just like silk all the way for like 50 plus miles, maybe 75 miles. So that was cool. But you got to go someplace where you feel kind of comfortable. If you're comfortable where you are, stay where you are. But I just had to get the hell out of there, and that was like 2,300 fucking miles. Like I said, the halfway point was San Antonio, Texas, which is basically where I grew up in the area. I grew up in the suburbs of San Antonio. And a lot of memories come flooding back when I went to San Antonio. But man, San Antonio has become so goddamn busy. It's fucking ridiculous, man. And I really would have loved to stay there in some ways, but I'm happy to be down here in Central Florida. And like I said, I might go down farther south, maybe along the Central Gulf Coast, heading down into Sarasota and maybe Punta Gorda or Charlotte, some of those areas. This is fucking awesome down here. Hardly ever fucking gets cold. And then Rex, what's his name, from the Leak Project, he was down in Key West today. It was actually colder where they were. Oh, no, not in Key West, but like halfway to Key West. And he said it's actually colder than it was up here in Central Florida. Got up to like 55 today here in Central Florida. But anyway, tomorrow here in Central Florida is supposed to hit 66 for the high. And then Tuesday into the 70s, and by Thursday it's going to be fucking 80 or so, so it's just fucking. And when it gets 75, 80 here in Florida, oh man, in the wintertime, it is just fucking unbelievably beautiful. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Get my little dog out here, and we're going to go trucking around tomorrow. My little Pomeranian. I'll have to get show you her in a live stream sometime. Maybe I'll get on my phone and show you her. She's 14 years old. She was actually born here in Florida, in Cape Coral, next to Cape Coral is right next to like Fort Myers, Florida. But yes, yeah, Cashew, it's going to be really nice here, man. This coming week, it's going to be just like beautiful temperatures. Last night it was fucking frigid. I couldn't sit out here very long. Tonight I can sit out here because the wind is not blowing very much. It's just very light, very serene, and I'm loving it, man. It's this is fucking awesome. And yeah, like I said, I got this nice little house I'm leasing. It's not very big. It's like 1,245 square feet. And, the house that we had in Vegas was nearly 2,000 square feet. And it was starting to get expensive because everything in Vegas was getting expensive. Because, the governor's a fucking asshole. He wants to restrict people, how they work, how they play, all that shit, man. Goddamn blue governor, and I'm not blue or red. I am a fucking patriot, and that's what I've discovered over the last, you could say, 20 years. I am the epitome of a patriot. I, I just can't explain to you how fucking lost I was after I got out of the military the last time. But finally the good Lord said, "Look, son, you've got to grow up a little bit. You've got to realize what a great country you have, but you've got to take it to the next level. You can't let them screw you over." And I mean, yeah, Cashew, it is fucking awesome down here. I know they have the hurricane season, all that shit. I've been down here in hurricane season, but when you're inland a little bit, it's not so rough. And really on the Gulf side, the west side of Florida, especially once you get out of the Pensacola area and you go south along the Gulf Coast side, you're really not going to get much shit happening unless it's like a 100 or 500 year cycle. But of course, the good Lord could bring anything anywhere when you're least expecting it. So we all have to be ready to accept the consequences, whatever those are. So I don't know what the hell else I can say, but I hope the next time some of y'all come over here, you can bring your buddies and your girlfriends and your wives and your whatever, bring them over here and I'll feed them a lot of bullshit. No, I'm just kidding. But I hope the good Lord, I pray this in the name of Jesus Christ, that he'll take my spouse, my wife, my love to a better place and not let her hang on too long, because she's really battling with a lot of conditions, so I haven't been to West Palm Beach, Gesundheit, but like I said, Rex got all the way down to halfway down the Keys. And I told, dude, you got to go down to Duval Street. Duval is the heart of Key West, and just experience it one time, because I know it's a bit of debauchery and all that shit. People go down there and get fucking drunk. They fucking raise hell and do all kinds of shit. But every time I went down there, I never had any problem with anybody. People are cool. They're very cool. Thanks, 12 Bravo. I appreciate that. Next time I'm going to have to try to find out how to put live chat in here. I've been really negligent on that shit, but I'll or not live chat, but I mean, where you can get on here and show yourself and all that shit. I'm just really lazy about shit like that. I just, like Dangerous Freedom did, Ron. And I know Ron's doing well. He was a good dude. I'm sure that the good Lord took him into his arms and said, "It's okay. Everybody dies, and I'll take you with me. Just don't deny me. Just don't deny the good Lord. And you'll be fine." That's the way I look at it. And believe me, I am really fucked up. But the good Lord will take me into his arms too when I'm ready to go, or when he says I'm ready to go. So I don't know when I'm going to be ready to go. StreamYard, Cashew. Exactly. I got to figure out how to do that shit. I can't believe I've been on here this long bullshitting. Yeah. But it is what it is. I didn't even think I had this much a gift of gab, until I started getting on a live stream once in a while and just, spilling my guts, you know. Uh, maybe when I was, maybe way back when I was in my mid to late 30s, I was in the Army for 3 years. And but prior to that, I was in another branch called the United States Air Force for almost 9 years. And, when I got into the Army, uh, I got a lot of ribbing. I got a lot of, uh, you fucking wing nut, all kinds of shit. But you know what? I love those dudes, man. I'd never change that experience for anything. And I was a fucking idiot, goddamn liberal back then. I mean, in a lot of ways, I was buying into fucking climate change, and I was, you know, whining about this and that, But by the time I got out of the Army, things began to slowly change. I slowly began to see, the bullshit people were putting me through, and I was, involved in being manipulated. But no more. I don't let that shit happen anymore. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. What do you got? What do you all got to say? You know, I'm. How can I put it to you? I am a conservative, somewhat, with a lot of remnants of bullshit in my past life, but I've learned to, see the truth. And when I learned to see the truth, it was way back in 2007. Started listening to Alex Jones. Now we all know Alex Jones is a faulty human being, but he, brought me to a lot of truth. And so I don't watch him hardly ever now, but you got to admit the guy really did bring a lot of people out of their shell, out of their bubble, you know, and so here we are today, and I'm thankful for him, even though he's kind of been full of bullshit in some ways, but not really a bad dude. How you doing, Tony Smith? How you doing, Angela Lojanova? Is that how you say that? Uh, Sorry, I got to take a drink every once in a while. Uh, yeah, I'm just trying to live a halfway decent life, and it's a halfway decent life, uh, the way I live. Uh, so, so what's been the big story over at Jeremy Jester and those other channels? Are they still talking about relevant things? Oh, so Angela, she put a spam link in chat. We can ignore that one. Okay. Okay. That's okay. I used to spam a little bit on some channels, but nothing big, you know. I think a lot of some of the channels I used to go on, even Ron got really irritated with me, and what's his name, Moose, because I think even though Moose is he's a highly educated guy, but yeah, he's got some problems. A couple of times Moose would say that he got the real COVID test, the more precise COVID test. And, I was thinking, okay, I don't believe that. Hey, Independent Mini United. Yeah. What's up, y'all? What's up, Independent Mini? Uh, I can't believe it. Yeah, last night it was so fucking cold out of here. I couldn't sit here more than like 20 minutes. Now I'm going on, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or more, and feels pretty good because there's almost no breeze out here. But hey, Tony Smith, how are you doing? What's going on in your neck of the woods? Yeah, I smoke a bit, Tony. You know, I don't smoke as much as I used to. I used to smoke like every fucking day, but now I'm trying to keep a balance. You know, because whether it's alcohol or cigarettes or uh, weed or whatever, you know. As a matter of fact, I got like 6 or 7 buds from the guy that rented this house to me. He's a very cool dude. I'd say he's like mid 40s or so, and really cool dude. His name is Justo. He's from Puerto Rico, and he's into the geotechnical side of construction. You know, they go out and do a lot of soil testing and all that shit. Very cool dude. Still got a bunch of shit in my garage, but he's slowly but surely getting it out of here. Uh, I got to get on the phone one of these days and walk you all around this area. It is so cool, man. It's like uh, some of the stuff you see in like deep South Louisiana or maybe around Biloxi, Mississippi. You know, you got these huge oak trees with Spanish moss hanging off. It's just awesome, man. It's like going back in fucking time. And then after, I mean, even with this park across the street, you know, with all the activity during the day, after like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, you can hear a fucking pin drop out here. I mean, it is fucking sublime. It is fucking awesome. I love it. Yeah, Cashy, I know. Yeah, I love Texas. I really do. I just wish, you know, San Antonio had stayed a little bit more low key, but it's gotten to be too much like a Houston or a Dallas. You know, it's just gotten really fucking busy, and it's saddening, really, because when I grew up around the San Antonio area, it was like growing up in the fucking country. I grew up in a little town called Universal City. Uh, and back in the day, it was like 20 miles to San Antonio. And, you know, we used to be able to walk out in our backyard when I was a kid and be rabbit and deer and all that shit, man. It was just fucking awesome. But yeah, I miss those days. Yeah, cashew. Yeah, I moved all the way across the fucking country, 2,300 fucking miles plus, and but the countryside, yeah, it is really diverse. I mean, it is just sweet when you start looking at everything. You know, when I was driving through northern New Mexico, headed toward Amarillo, Texas. I mean, there is some gorgeous country in northern New Mexico. I mean, you know, some of it's volcanic, some of it's forest. You know, Grand Canyon. Just oh, wow, it it is really something to behold. I wish I could have stopped more places along the way, but it is really beautiful. Once you get into the Grand Canyon area, the highways are really nice. You know, smooth as silk, and big tall pine trees. Oh man, It is awesome. I loved it. I would just wish I could have stopped along the way, but I had to keep on trucking to get down to the halfway point in San Antonio, Texas, because that's almost like exactly halfway coming from Nevada, Stan. You know. And Nevada used to be it was an awesome place, but now they got those fucking globalists running the state. Sick. It's just sick. So, now I mean in a good way sick. I mean in a bad way sick. You know. Hey Tony, I know some people that live in Missouri. Uh, what's her name? Can't think of her name. I'll think of it in a minute. But she started setting up shop out in the boonies uh, in Missouri. Uh, Damn, I wish I could think of her name right now, but I can't. But I've been through parts of Missouri in the past. It's awesome. My mom, she grew up in northern Arkansas. Well, between Little Rock and the Ozarks. To be specific, she was born in Bauxite, Arkansas. It's out in the fucking boonies. Used to be a mining town, and yeah, I got a bunch of relatives in that area from Little Rock on up to the Ozark. The getting on up into the Ozarks. You know. Matter of fact, I have to mention this before I get off here. In my family, almost everybody had dark hair. I was the only one that came up with this light hair. You know, look at that big old blonde headed kid. You know, my my dad was a quarter Comanche Indian, and I don't know what else. Never did find out. But and my mom had dark hair. My sister had dark hair. My brother had dark hair, and my younger sister, she had somewhat light hair like mine, but I was the only one that was a throwback to like a Irish, Scottish, whatever. You know, I was the throwback. I was kind of the black sheep, really. To be quite honest, I was the black sheep. But it's cool. I don't mind. Uh, is what it is. I'm just looking at the comments there. Uh, yeah, Cashew. Back in the day when I was growing up out in Universal City, Texas. I mean, there were deer everywhere. There were rabbit, deer, coons, possum. Uh, Man, birds of all varieties, and it was just awesome. It was a great place for a kid to grow up, especially when I was in grade school. Man, and I think it was almost kind of like something that my mom was proud of that I could grow up in that community. Now it's a pretty big community. It's probably like 30, 40,000 people. But back in those days, you know, you'd have to, walk quite a ways to get to your neighbor. When we first bought that house, there was not jack shit out there. It was just all woods all around. It was fucking awesome. But yeah, when they took pictures of myself and my mom and dad and my brother and my sister, I was the only one that looked like I didn't belong in the fucking family. But I wasn't. I wasn't adopted. I was, just the oddball out. Yeah, Cashew. I love that. I mean, I was out there every day, walking through the woods. And then just like several years later, everything started growing like crazy, businesses, and because it was near an Air Force base. So, but I go out, exploring every day. It was like my mom never did worry. She just wanted us to get back in before dark. And most of the time, I got in back before dark. And anyway, it was beautiful. And my mom, uh, she was a country girl, from northern Arkansas, and she was actually the one that taught me how to read, write, and do some simple arithmetic. She was a good old lady, man. If it hadn't been for her, perhaps I would have never learned anything in school because I hated school. School was like a disease for me. It's just like every day when I sat in the classroom, I just felt like I was just, I didn't belong. But my mom, you know, she brought me along slowly but surely. She was a good old lady. And, well, I guess I'm going to have to get out of here because I got to go check on the old lady. She might be waking up and she needs some more morphine or whatever she needs. So, y'all take it easy. And I love y'all. And just don't forget the good Lord Jesus Christ is in your corner. He loves you. Good night.